Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. Big shout out to everyone who listens, everyone who watches over on YouTube, everyone who subscribes on Apple and Spotify, the people who've given us nice reviews. We appreciate and read every single one of those reviews, and a big shout out to the ladies who listen, who are some of the most gorgeous and sexy women in the world. Big love, a big kiss, big hug when we see you, big wink. Oh, woo, one breath.
Oh, sorry, you're done. All right. Okay.
I'd forgotten, in the last two episodes, I'd forgotten to say that the women who listen are the most gorgeous and sexy women in the world. That's the point of what I'm trying to say.
Right.
The big kiss and the big wink when we see you.
Due to that.
That's because they're so gorgeous and sexy.
Of course.
It almost doesn't make sense. It almost doesn't
okay. No, please, tell me how that doesn't make sense.
If they're not gorgeous and sexy, why would we want to wink at them so much?
Well, I'll let you in a little secret now, people watching at home. This is the end of a recording session. We record multiple episodes at one time. We are now in the real Java DEFCON 1 zone. He's gone and made another Java mid-episodes there. I've moved on to water. He never does. He only stays on the...
I fast, don't I?
What do you mean?
I don't eat. I fast until 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
And
that's
how does that?
I'm an alcoholic, and that's the reason I'm not fat.
Right, I see.
I fast every single day.
Okay, and there's, I mean, presumably if you're kind of jarvering on an empty stomach as well, it's a bit like taking peyote or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of seeing around corners.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel right now?
Fine. What I will notice is I have a lot of arguments with my missus or my kids at around 1 p.m.
Really? That shocks. I'm shocked to hear that. I am shocked to hear that. See, the man who's had to do...
threw my deodorant on the floor the other day because I was in a strop.
Just chucking the Lynx Africa down.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
all right, so you're telling me that the man who's not eaten for like 18 hours, who's had to do loads of looking after his kids, and who, by the way, is 7 Javas deep, he gets a bit irritable around lunchtime,
I never break past 3. I never do more than 3.
Go past 3 in the afternoon?
No, sorry. I never have more than 3 coffees in a day.
Okay. That's very big of you.
How many do you have? Do you have more than that?
No, I'll go for 2 of a morning, yeah.
2?
Yeah,
Three, never 3? You never have an afternoon Java?
No, well, yeah, in the morning I have 2 and I have 1 in the afternoon as well, so it's 3 in total.
Right, that's not bad. Yeah. My mate, Luke, you know, during lockdown, everyone started running.
Yeah.
You know, when like gyms were closed.
Yeah.
So I was like, come on, Luke, let's go for a fucking run. And
it's like fucking Ray Winston. Let's go for a fucking run.
We did like 2 laps of Finsbury Park, which is like less than 5k.
Okay.
He had to go to hospital.
What for?
His heart.
Sticker
Nearly exploded.
Right.
Went in and they were like, "Yeah, you're not good." And he was like, "What's wrong with me?" And they were like, "How much caffeine do you have?" And he's like, "I have about 8 coffees a day." And they were like, "That's it. You're going to make your heart explode." That.
When I think of my caffeine intake, I think we've discussed this. You were quite funny about this on your recent all-inclusive, where it's like I have a coffee after my lunch, and I imagine that's what like a Parisian businessman would do, just to like pep him up for the afternoon. Like have a little espresso, get me going. But I don't know if a Parisian businessman has just eaten a chicken and bacon sandwich and McCoy's and done 2 vape jewel caps in 1 hour. I don't think they do that as well. So. That's where it falls down.
When I was on holiday, I was like, cutting open 4 croissants, dribbling honey inside all of them, and then putting fucking 2 sugars in my coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm like one of those ladies in Paris.
Yeah, I'm like a fashion model.
Oh, dearie me. Right, what do we need to talk about? Let's get serious with this intro.
Oh, well, okay.
What do we need to address?
There's a lot we need to address.
Well, I think this will be the last one before we launch Patreon. Trying to map it out.
It's going to be around that time.
And the other thing, I think, we didn't really plan this. We barely planned any of this. But I think what we should just say is this will be coming up to the 12-month mark.
Yeah.
This will be a year worth of screen rot.
Yeah. This might be the hardest I've ever tried at anything.
Well, yeah. I would maybe say I agree on that. Yeah.
Well, we've tried pretty hard.
We have tried pretty hard. I'd say
it may not look or sound like it. We can't work a camera.
I'd tell you what, the ghosts of previous failure really haunt every success we have. Do you like that? That's nice, isn't it? But seriously, like if people could have seen borrowing my mate Ollie's camera, not knowing how the camera works, the camera overheating and us getting the wrong card for it and blah, blah, blah. and then working out we can do it on the phone, and then the phone running out of battery at times, running out of storage, to then now we've got the camera, we've done the room up a bit, we've got better lights, and also like people actually listen now. That's the other thing is like when it started, there was like 100 listeners a week, and now it's 1,000, and it's like. It has grown, and I think
it's fun watching something grow. It's fun giving people pleasure as well.
I don't want to get too earnest with it, but I think the nicest thing is people who really get into it, and who will message us things like, you've probably been chasing Corbyn round whilst honking on an electro bong, or words to that extent, or as your ticker explains, like people who assume the language of it, and it's like because I get to meet them maybe more than you.
Right, at gig more frequently.
Just like gig more frequently, and people will come along to gigs, and it's the people who listen to this podcast are fucking lovely.
Yeah,
they're like to a person. Mm-hmm. We have to shout out fucking Ben who brought us the England shirts.
Yeah, massive. And Shane, Ben and Shane.
Ben and Shane who sorted us out England shirts. Paul who sent the electro bongs. Yeah, and
But like you say, the because we are so bad technically. And because we've been like locked in this spare room, like sweating bullets, sweating like Cougine after a meatball parmesan sub, like it is the messages on Instagram that say that was really fun. That people don't need to send but do. It makes a big difference. And I think I just hope that people have got a lot out of it. And we've got kind of big plans, right, for what we want to do. We want to keep this going. We want to make it bigger. And hopefully people will support that when the Patreon
exactly.
comes up.
And I think that's the hard. And I don't mind. There's no ego with this podcast. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to look like fucking film stars. Like, people will be aware this is done in a spare room, and people will be aware that we haven't really made any money out of it yet.
Yeah.
But I should say, I've been able to sell more tour tickets because of this, so I've made money from that, and I've been able to employ you to come on tour with me. I need to pay you for the London date. I'll do that straight after we finish recording. Yeah, I forgot to pay you. And I've even been able to put a bit of money in old Jake's pocket.
I forgot about that. You definitely paid me for one.
I know. We've done a few more than one. That's anyway, I paid you for the other. They're just London outstanding. We'll talk off camera. The state of this. We're trying to say thank you, and we're settling invoices.
Look.
We're
having to pay for Mango to get an abortion every week. She owns a third of this podcast. She legally owns a third of this.
I'm whoring out the cat. Fucking hell, the cat's on maternity leave. We're having to give her.
Mango's on maternity leave. Mango, we had to send her to the Priory.
She called in freelance HR. We're being fucked left, right, and centre. The things we've said about this cat. Look, no, I'm trying to say thank you. I'm trying to say thank you to people that have listened so far. The fact that we're doing a sold-out show in London,
it's massive. We love it.
It's incredible, and so excited to meet people there. We've got other live stuff. We've got 2 more live things in the wire that we're going to be. Maybe would have even announced one of them.
Yeah.
By the time this goes out, there'll be separate content discussing that, because I think we're going to announce the next one at the live show, aren't we? So just thank you to everyone. And what I've also had, and I have written these down, is a lot of people who've commented, who's messaged saying, "Lads, enjoying it so much. I can't wait to be a patron just so I can help fund it." I've written down every single one of your names.
We've got a spreadsheet.
You might have said that when you were pissed.
You're on the hook. Mango's legal advice extends to how much we can get you to pay.
The moosh will arrive at your house with a card.
Ahmed Yacoub will drop the moosh off at your house.
There's no defence for that offence. No, but I just want to say thank you. Just and things have grown a little bit now, and for me more so than you. Mm-hmm. The way it works is I have multiple streams of income between gigs and writing and this and touring and blah 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 blah. And what essentially monetizing this and starting the Patreon with this means I can spend even more time replying to people who go, "You should fucking..." No, it means we can spend more time on it and make it better.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you.
And we know, like, look, we know it's a big thing just for anyone to listen at all. Maybe you've got someone you reckon might want to become a rotter. That's a thing you can do for us as well. Drop them a message. Drop them a little DM on Instagram and see, have you seen these 2 idiots talking about
recommend it to a mate. I mean, the other thing that is really quick and easy to do, which does help us out, is just giving it a review on Spotify or Apple. Massive. Specifically Spotify, we're a little bit low on our rating on Spotify. We're 4.6.
Are we? That's the spoken word poet.
We do upset people. No, there is a lot of people we upset who will, them and their mates. Russ Cook's hardest geezer. I don't think Russ himself saw it, but a lot of those people will have. I'll have had arguments with them on the Instagram, and they'll then go, "No, fucking one star."
What I will say as well is, like, I often, like, people kind of it is about taking the piss out of people. There's some people we really like. We talked about Meals by Cooge last week, who we really liked. The guy we're going to talk about this week, we kind of like.
Mush
we liked, but like also like it's not that bad really. We're just making jokes.
Well,
it's just jokes.
Do you know what makes me feel better is the fact that someone, and I think this happened with a couple of the people we've discussed.
Right.
I know that the Meow guy watched the YouTube and left a comment.
Frost and Leo,
he wasn't upset.
He wasn't upset. He loved it.
And obviously, El Burrito Monster, is now a rotter.
Yeah.
So I think if we started being nice about everyone, we'd be selling out. We do still have to be cunts about Schooner Scorer.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this off camera. Is that it might have been on camera actually? I don't really remember. But that thing of like, if they've got enough followers and they're from a privileged background, if they're one of those things, if they've either got rich parents or loads of followers, we can be as nasty as we want. And
also, those are the two key things.
They're the two variables.
And I was kind of encouraged this week because we kind of gave Eating with Todd a bit of a hard time when we did his account about 20 weeks ago. Turns out, Eating with Todd, big Nigel Farage fan, commenting all his videos. Lined up like drummers at a Led Zeppelin concert.
The ladies were lined up like boats coming into Calais. They need to go back. Let's get on to this week's topic.
Yeah.
This week's topic has been sent to me multiple times. So many times. Because I think he talks about enjoying things that I sometimes enjoy. Used to enjoy a lot more, as did he. He is a storyteller. He's a chatter.
A raconteur.
But he's gone through a big change in his life. And I think that's the really interesting thing about him. This week we are talking about Michael Fenwick's Mad Mike being mad.
Is he mad?
Well, he calls himself Mad Mike being mad. And I think the fact that he also talks about the fact that the drug problem gave him mental health problems means that's an insensitive thing that
Slightly
only he can say about himself. Here's Mad Mike being mad! Oi, get on. Sorry, mate. We'll leave that in. Come on.
Yeah,
man.
Get in frame.
Mango,
darling.
she'll be out there, you know.
I don't want to know what she's doing out there. What she does out there is between her and her polyamorous...
She's filthier than that fucking prison warden. Oi, get on this.
Please.
Mad Mike being mad has stopped being mad.
Fair play to him.
He is sobered up. He is nearly half a year sober now.
Yeah.
And full fucking respect to the guy. One of the hardest things you can do. Well done for addressing that issue in your life. However, there is a glint of the eye. There's a glint in the eye of Mad Mike being mad when he's talking about being mad that makes me sometimes think you would quite like to still be mad.
And I did worry about this as well because the nature of the fandom for Mad Mike is because Mad Mike is referring a lot to the mad old days and telling stories from the mad old days, and people really do mainly want to hear mad stories.
It's a little bit of Al Murray syndrome.
Yes,
it's a little bit of like so quick bit of context. Michael Fenwick's Mad Mike being mad. He's a guy on Instagram who does the thing that many of us do of walk around talking into his phone. What he goes viral for is talking to the phone about his mad old days as a bit of a drug addict. A few years ago, he's a former footballer, professional footballer,
unbelievable shape.
He's had a lot of mad times, and he'll tell stories from the mad times. He'll say about stuff that he got up to or observations on other people when they're getting on it. Mad Mike being mad is no longer being mad because he's been sober for half a year.
Yeah.
The reels where he's talking about doing care get 500,000 views.
Yes.
The reels of him and his missus jumping in an ice bath and talking about how good it is to be sober get 4,000 views. And that is the dichotomy of Mad Mike being mad. In the same way it was with Al Murray, the pub landlord, speaking like a pub landlord, going, "We need to get these fucking Ahmeds out of here." And all the crowd at Al Murray gigs go, and he goes, "But I'm actually someone who went to Cambridge and I'm just being a comedian doing a character." And they go, "What?
Who?"
And so it's like, what are you feeding your audience?
It's fair to say that if it was normal Mike being happy, it would get less views.
Right, that's it. If it was normal Mike being happy, If it was normal Mike being, and by the way, I'm gonna tread carefully on this because as we said in the intro, when we're being a cunt to people, it's only okay if they've either got rich parents or they've got millions of followers.
Yes.
Mad Mike being mad has neither of those things,
No.
and I do like. I think he's a fucking great guy.
Yes.
But and if you do end up watching Mike, because you might, we love you, mate, and we respect what you're doing.
100%.
What we're trying to dissect is why people are more keen to hear about mad stories from a guy who was genuinely suffering than watching him jump in an ice bath and celebrate being sober and enjoying life as a sober man. We're talking about the audience more so than Mad Mike. Don't call the police.
And what I really respect about Mad Mike as well is that he does not glamorize this in any way.
No, he's...
His whole kind of like, I think, like reason for doing it in a way is to be like, look, this is the depths to which you can go, and there is some absurdity and there is some humour in that, but ultimately he's reflecting on the mad times being mad, like with sadness and with like, can you believe that I used to do that? And
should we watch?
Yeah, let's watch the
I
first
think the
one.
first one's a really good example of exactly what you're describing.
And this is Mad Mike talking about a mad
Being
time.
mad.
Where he's doing ket.
Oh, mate, that ket's another level, mate. I don't know how them ket heads do it, mate. I've had it once in my life, 22 years old, Sunday night, 1 o'clock in the morning, we ran out on the powder, I'll have a line of ket. Go on, I'll try it. Mate, 4 hours, mate, on a chair, mate, thinking it was on a roller coaster. One of the other lads, he kept dipping his head in and out of fish tank.
Yeah, that doesn't.
He got to 5 in the morning, his parents have come down, mate. It's
Oh,
a Monday
God,
morning,
can you
mate, the
imagine?
legs have gone. It took me an hour and a half walk home, half a mile. I got in at 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. I said to my gaffer, mate, I can't come work, mate. I said, I've had something dodgy me, mate. How you ketheads do it, it's another level, that stuff. If you're addicted to that ket, mate, I don't know. I just don't think it just didn't work for me, that stuff. It scared me, man. I didn't know what day it was, mate. Leave your ket stories below. It fascinates me, these ket stories. It's another level. Mate, he's dipping head in fish tank and I'm on a roller coaster. It don't make sense, mate.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
Mad Mike being mad is speaking from the perspective of someone who is now sober, who didn't like ket at the time, but would never do it again because he's now sober.
Looking healthy, looking good.
Looking like a ket head. Like he is in character.
Yeah.
I do not believe. Okay. He puts up a lot of content of him sat in an ice bath with a cup of herbal tea talking about how nice it is to be sober. If he'd have told that story while sat in the ice bath sipping the herbal tea, that gets no views.
Right.
He knows the big purple rave face sunglasses.
Yes.
The fucking, I was on ket last night, mate.
Yeah.
And even to the point of the zip neck fucking
quarter
running
zip,
gear.
yeah.
That's what Northerners wear when they go out nowadays. Have you seen this? That is exactly, that is like Northerners on a night out wear
Athleisure.
£100 athletic Nike running gear.
Right. He's doing that.
He's dressed as a ket head.
Yeah.
Like, and I do think he kind of knows. I do think he... And fair fucks, as you say, he's not glamorising it at all. You cannot accuse him of glamorising it. But there is an element of character there.
That's interesting that he is still inhabiting the manic energy of being a ket head or in that world. A sesh head, yeah. But like... And so the signifiers, like you say, the glasses and the zip up, like that's
what makes it work.
Yeah, that's true actually. Because if he was like wearing a kind of poncho,
dressing gown,
yeah,
with a
just
cup of tea
wouldn't
wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. And you know, he's doing the thing that a lot of us do. He walks around in public telling the story. And I mean, I cringe myself out if I'm walking through my local park.
He's in the middle of his town.
He's in the middle of town shouting about ketamine. I get cringy if I'm walking around talking about Kai Havertz in my local park. I'm like, oh god, pretending we're on FaceTime or something. He's that fucking ket, mate, shouting. I mean,
I do love imagining being on like the bus stop across the road, watching him make that. Do you know what I mean? All of these.
How
things.
many takes do you reckon he did? Yeah. He'd have done 10 takes. I'm telling you now, he'd have done 10 takes of that.
And he's saying he was on a roller coaster for 4 hours, and then their mum and dad came down. Can you imagine the depths of despair?
Well, I've.
You don't have to imagine.
As he's telling that story, I've got so many stories like that.
Really?
Oh man, round my mate Luke's house, this was the worst one.
Was there always one house where it was you'd most often end up?
We had a few, to be honest with you. We that was the danger of it. My mate Andy Cox lived on his own.
Yeah, that's bad news.
And I mean, you know, had a flat near the town centre in Hitchin at the age of like 22.
Yeah,
I was like 18 at the time, but that'd be the start and the end of so many nights. Also, my mate Luke Hawke. Do you remember Luke Hawke from your school?
Yeah,
so he had a little brother that was really young, and I remember like we were around his parents' house once. 7.
We have to bleep these names, by the way.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, okay.
7 in the morning, we're still going, and his little brother comes downstairs to get ready for school, and you have never seen. We were like comatized from ketamine. That got us up. Hearing a 7-year-old walk down the stairs asking his mum what he's having for breakfast, that gets you up.
That will get you going.
You could have done 4 days on acid. That will get you up and get you out and get your shoes on fast. I remember going and sitting in the street after that.
Just anywhere but there.
Anywhere but there. I will say, I mean, listening to him, I'm not an addict. Jesus Christ. But I mean, look, my
Mad Jacob being mad account coming soon. Oh, you're not an addict?
I could take him on. I've got some Mad Jacob.
You've got some Mad Jacob stories.
Right, no, sorry.
We don't want to glamorise it.
No, we don't want to glamorise it. And also, it is pathetic. I look back now and it is pathetic.
But people do it when they're young and
But it was, my mate Jerome was at a party with people a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying, like, it got to 2 a.m, everyone had ordered in, and everyone's like, has anyone got a filter? Could I borrow some tobacco? And he said he had that moment of like, we're like, you're all like 35. Like, he was like, what, this forever? Still? We probably ran out of conversations 10 years ago. Do we need to go till 4 a.m? But I mean, I don't go mad and get on it in the way I used to. Largely, I never had to make the decision to slow down.
Right.
Because I had to anyway. Mm-hmm. Because I work weekends, Friday and Saturday night, and I've got children now. So there is the odd occasion, like a handful of times a year, I'll have a mad one like that. But it's I've never sat down and gone, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, right.
Whereas but even just talking about that story of like around my mate Luke's house or my mate Andy's house, his flat he used to have. I remember watching. Do you remember another lad we grew up with, Mike Blythe?
Yes.
This guy was great. Mike is fucking brilliant.
Right.
And I remember we were watching The X Factor. Just standing. We're about to go out on a Saturday night. That's just what's on telly.
Yeah.
And there's some girl singing fucking Adele, and he was like, "Oh," we were so fucked. We were like, "You should go on X Factor, Mike," because he was good looking. We were like, "You should go on X Factor. We have to get you on X Factor." And he was like, "But what's my talent?" And we worked out that his talent was downing half a litre of vodka at once and doing 6 lines.
Oh, like Britain's Got Talent, like in front of Amanda Holden.
we were honestly like
golden buzzer.
We were like, you're so good at doing that, we could put you on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm just changing.
We need to share. We need to share this with skill with the world.
The point I'm trying to make is that like I still listen to that, and I think this is why Mad Mike being mad when he's wearing the glasses and the zip neck,
right?
And you hear that story. It's similar to what we said about the mush. There is a part of the male psyche. There is a dog inside of me that starts howling for freedom. It's like,
even the bad stories you want in on.
Even the bad. I even want a 7-year-old to come down the stairs and make me put my shoes on and run out of the house when I'm seeing colours. The reason drug stories work.
Yes.
Drink and drug stories work. People love hearing a story of a night that's gone mad. Or telling a story of a night that's gone mad. That's what really works with Mad Mike being mad. And we can watch the next one now. Which I can't remember what it is.
I think it might be the other side of the coin. I think is it the sad one? It might be. I think. Let's look.
Pop it up. Yeah. Perfect. Right now, this is a good one to watch because this actually tells you his story.
Right.
And this is where you go, does that jar a little bit?
Yeah.
I've just watched Mad Mike being mad, telling a mad night about a story on Ket, and the dog inside me is howling to go for a walk.
Because even though it was very sad, he told it in a humorous way. He's a funny storyteller. Yeah, but then this, I think, is really worth doing. This is difficult to watch in a way, but this is the other side of the coin, which at least he does acknowledge.
So for years I was a casual user. I enjoyed a line. Picture of him when he played football. I was dry sniffing for years, used it as an escape. I was hospitalised after trying to take my own life. I went in for a voluntary section. I quit the excuses. I got serious about my life. Today I'm 26 weeks free from the carnage of drink and drugs, and he's sat in an ice bath. And
the word carnage there, I think, is a really interesting word. The only other time we've had that used on the podcast is a man talking about spice bags. So it's quite different. But like carnage is right, because once it gets to you in the way that it got to him, it is like all encompassing, right? It's like every day is madness.
That is it, and that's the fine line that I've never quite crossed.
Right.
My life has never
spiraled out of control.
There was one point when I was 19. It was I was unemployed, and I was, it started seeping into the daytimes, and that was bad. But I think I was just lucky that I had, good people around me, and I had fucking good people around me. I just happened to get a job that meant I stopped doing that.
Right.
I think me and my mates have always just towed the line of it, not quite, and a couple of us have gone off the rails.
Yeah.
But we've never quite gone that far. But then, I've told stories about my trip to Ibiza last summer with mates who are kind of, in sort of show busy, and we went mental.
Right.
We went mental.
Off the leash.
And I've told some of the stories about,
Yeah.
sex workers coming back and people having sex with each other's feet and it, knives and paranoia and thinking someone had broken in when there was no one there.
Yeah.
And it was really, really, really mad. And one of the lads, Jody from, Jody Latham, I remember he turned to me 3 days in, and in a quite serious moment, he was like, most people don't live like this.
Yeah.
And it was a serious thing. He was like, this what we're doing does kill people.
Yeah.
And I do think I really respect Mad Mike for putting this up.
Yeah.
Because in the same way that I think it's actually important that me and Jody don't just spend a week going, this is fucking funny, this is mad,
right.
let's not sleep again. Someone does need to pull you aside and go, we'll die if we carry on.
Yeah.
I think it's good that, and I don't suspect it's helped his algorithm, Mad Mike.
No.
Do you know what I mean? He could have gone fucking stratospheric.
Right.
Do one about coke now. Do one about acid. The thing with Instagram that I've learned about social media, the algorithm rewards you doing the same thing as similar as possible again and again and again and again.
Right.
The thing that kind of killed my algorithm a little bit was this podcast. It genuinely was. When my Instagram,
this millstone round our necks.
well, I just didn't know this. My Instagram was going mental in September of last year. I was doing one of these football videos every single day, and I was getting an extra 1,000 followers a day, sometimes more. Each one was getting 1 million views,
right.
And I was just like, "Fuck it, if it keeps working, I'm just going to keep doing it." Then we launched this podcast, and I started putting podcast clips, and the first one did all right, but then they started dying, and it's because I spoke to someone. They were like, "It's because you've diluted your content." Red Richardson's the best example. The Stay Toxic guy. As soon as his started taking off, someone must have told him this, because he got rid of anything else on his profile that wasn't related to that.
No stand-up.
And then every video he did, same point of view, often the same clothes, same kind of video, same structure, talking about the same things, same hashtags. So what would have helped Mad Mike being mad is if he'd have gone, now do one about coke, now do one about acid, but same hashtags, same length, same sunglasses, literally same sunglasses, and he would have gone.
But instead, he
was honest.
He's
and
doing
he was like,
truly
it
what he
nearly
wants.
fucking killed me.
Yeah.
And so you have to respect him.
And I just hope that he is. Because this is probably a bit unexpected as well, right? He's got quite a few followers now. He's probably going to end up getting a lot more. It's going to continue at a kind of steady pace. I hope this doesn't interfere with his journey of sobriety in any way. Do you know what I mean? Because he's being very honest with people. He's being very vulnerable, incredibly vulnerable. And I really rate that. And I think fair play to you, because I think it is a service to people to be look, these absurd, do you want to be in the flat when the parents come down and your mate's got his head in the fish tank?
I mean, that's it's funny. We one of our reels that has done very well on Instagram is the one where we talk about snowy danger,
right?
And we're saying that's the cure to men's mental health is go out and get on it every weekend.
Yeah.
We're obviously joking,
yes,
right? But
very clearly,
the internet doesn't always fucking spot that. And we've had a few people being like, yeah, you might think it's fun, but it's actually not, right? If you keep doing that, you're going to be depressed. Obviously,
I just don't know how you could watch that and believe that we're seriously advocating that's what you should do.
Fucking idiots. But I quite like it. Say if Mad Mike being mad went mad and relapsed, I think we're allowed to use his terms. If Mad Mike being mad starts being mad. If Mad Mike being mad goes mad again and he's mad.
Have you heard about Mad Mike? Mad Mike being mad? Yeah, he's gone mad.
He's gone mad.
Mad is an incredible word.
It's so funny, isn't it? In the context of this. Are you being mad, Mike? Yes, I've relapsed and I've ruined my life.
Oh, you mad, Mike. You're so mad.
I know, I'm homeless. No, sorry, we're straying into... No, I would hope he'd be honest, and I think he would.
Right.
Well, do you know one thing that fucking winds me up is I follow a few like fitness lads, and like, you know, they do fitness and diet and the whole fucking shebang nowadays, and they will be like, just eat this, just eat that, fast here, just have protein, don't have this, it's so easy, why aren't you doing it? It's just so easy, why aren't you doing it? It's so easy. And then every now and then one will be like, yeah, 3 weeks ago I fell off the rails and had a fucking Domino's. It's like, we didn't say it at the time.
Yeah.
You're still showing us your abs and saying how easy it is to just eat protein.
Yeah. And by the way, that's not a relapse. Mad Mike would have a relapse. Having a Domino's doesn't count as a relapse.
Yeah, I know.
That's just funny. Saturday night.
Yeah,
it's just a meal.
Let's watch another bit of Mike. Let's watch some more Mike. This one, so
this one, they're commenting.
This one, it's a comment, and it's about his jawline,
which is
He's
fantastic.
got a very strong, chiseled jawline, and someone has said a couple years spent in Permagurn will do that to a man.
Permagurn, love it. Costs a lot of money to get a gurn like this, mate. Honestly, man. One of the best things they hold. I mean, you know, when you're that paranoid that you're under a quilt just gurning your head, you're thinking somebody's watching you because you think you're the most special person in the world. You think everyone's got CCTV on you.
Bloody hell.
You're just like that for about 5 years straight. Cost a lot of dough, mate, but one of my best attributes, I think.
He's got unbelievable hairline as well.
Oh, mate.
One of them, anyway, mate.
Can I say as well, I think that Manc accent is fucking amazing.
Mate, not just the Manc accent. Like, everything about that guy.
The swagger.
What part of Manc is it? Is Stockport?
I think he's Stockport, Greater Manchester way, yeah.
Oh. Everything between the brow, the hairline, the voice, the nose,
quality,
and the jaw.
Yeah.
Like, you could cut through rock with that man.
Yeah.
The way he speaks, like, everything about his face is so, like, chiseled and pointy.
Yeah.
I look at myself sometimes, I see a fucking Teletubby looking back at me. Like, everything's so round and soft.
Yeah.
He is just fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah, and the voice goes with it.
And I think his voice and his face says quite clearly, this is a man that's been through things, but has come out the other side stronger for it.
At what age do men like that start looking like that?
I don't know.
Sometimes it's like 13.
Yeah.
I've seen it sometimes. You get like all-inclusive holidays is where you'll see it. There was a little lad. It's so funny. My missus has never really encountered northern people because she's moved from Ireland to London.
Yeah,
so she doesn't know that, like, you know, northern people do kind of age at double speed. like in terms of like I reckon he looked like that at 14. That fucking all right, yeah. You know, like the jawline and the chisel and the brow that he can barely see past because it's drooping over his eyes. So like, there was this little lad, bless his heart. He was like 3 years old, this boy, when we were on holiday. And he came over to just sort of, you know, I was kicking a ball around with my son and he came over to sort of kick the ball and he was just chatting to us. Most 3-year-olds, you know, they want to talk about fucking Peppa Pig and stuff like that. And he just told us the time that his coach was coming to take him and his family to the airport and how he hopes it has air conditioning. And it's such like a kind of like middle-aged way to speak. It's like, our coach is coming 10 to 6 tonight. It'll get us into the airport nice and early. Hopefully it has air conditioning because it was warm on the way in. And my missus was just like, what is that, Benjamin Button? What's going on? And I was like, no, that's kind of what happens. I was like, people from up north, they often, they've got this kind of age thing where they speak older than they actually are. We had another one. We had this girl. She was from like Derby or something. She was like 9, right? And we would buy, there was like a sort of like kids play area and she had like little brothers and sisters who were like toddlers like my kids. And she was just sort of sat there and there was the football on, right? And I'm sort of half watching the football, half watching my kids. My missus doing the same, we've got a drink. And she's sort of sat there and we think she's watching the football. But she's sort of looking at my missus and she goes, like she's 9, this girl, maybe younger. And she goes, tiring, isn't it? And my missus was like, I beg your pardon? And she's like, tiring looking after him all day, isn't it? And then my missus is like, yeah. And she goes, I can tell you. She said to my girlfriend, she goes, I can tell you're such a good mum, though. And my missus was like, thank you. And she goes, you can take him to the entertainment tonight. and I could just see my missus being like, why are you talking like a dinner lady?
They all talk like that,
But
don't worry.
I was trying to explain. I was like, it does happen, and he's got that thing of like, there is something like, grim up north. It does it.
It's like an
and it does it to your face, to the way you think, the way you speak. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, and he's like, his face, like we said, looks like he's been through some hard times and come out the other end, and our face looks like he's been through some aborted podcast records and eats loads of ham.
But I again, it's kind of reminiscent of Jimskin.
Yes.
Jimskin
Fragile
does
big
that.
lad.
Yeah, but Jimskin is fragile big lad because he puts the filter on his face, doesn't he? And he kind of does that whole thing of like pretending, that he doesn't actually let you see his face. If you comment on his face, he shows you a mask. Whereas, Mad might be mad. He's just like, yeah, this is me. This is what I look like. And then people going, oh god, you look like you're going so much. Like, I spent a lot of money fucking girding like that.
And what I see when I look at him as well, and his attitude and his vibe is like, when I was younger, I played football quite a lot when I was younger, and I was never really good and never got to a good level, but I would infrequently come to play at a level where I would come into contact with serious players.
Yeah.
Like really, and like be so unbelievably out of my depth that it was scary. And like I would have nightmares about the 14-year-old version of him. Shrugging me off the ball in the middle of the park.
That's a great show, because this guy was a professional footballer. He played for Stockport,
which is unbelievable.
I think you've hit on something. So I'm going to give you a ding, actually.
God, what a treat!
Because you're right. People who reach that level of sport,
and
especially football, I think, because it is kind of a working class sport.
Yeah,
you have to be so fucking tough.
Yeah, just like built different, as they say in America.
Yeah, have you met my mate Kim? Did you meet Kim at the?
No, I don't think I have.
He was at the Park Theatre show.
Oh right,
he's the guy who had he was sat next to my parents with the hand tattoos.
No,
do you not remember him?
No.
Lad I went to school with, and I tell you what, Kim. I know.
We've talked about Kim, right? He's named after his auntie.
Yeah. He was the one who saved me when I got attacked after the last game of the season at Arsenal.
Okay.
And by the way, the lads, have I told you about the lads who attacked me?
No.
I got jumped after the last game of the season. Someone went, "Are you that cunt from YouTube?" Before I know I'm getting thrown over a table. And thankfully, the scaffolders that I grew up with, Kim and his mate Large, they saved me. Large. So I got a comment on one of my Instagram posts the other day, being like, someone commented, their mate going, "This is the geezer who mugged you off in the pub."
Oh my god!
And I was like, "What?" And I don't know why. My brain was like, "I wonder if it's them." So I messaged this guy and I was like, "Mate, did your pal throw me over a table?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was, mate. Ha, hope you're well." I got chatting to this guy. He was like, "Yeah, all big misunderstanding." And to be fair, that it did get resolved nicely on the night.
Right.
They are
careful.
How to explain it? I don't think they'll listen to this.
But it doesn't matter.
They have emojis over their faces in every picture.
Okay.
They are bad men. If Kim and Large hadn't got me out from under that, I'd be in a fucking bad
The podcast
way.
would have finished 6 months ago.
These are serious
There would have been a memorial episode.
They also now run the pub we were in.
That's enough. I don't want to know any more about that.
We've taken it over. And he was like, come for a drink whenever you want. It's kind of that Ahmed Yacoub thing of like, yes, sir, I'll do what you say. Anyway, sorry.
Everyone else on their videos gets comments like, ha, 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 going to see this person on tour. On your videos, you get, was this the bloke we mugged off after the last game of the season?
Is that the guy you threw over a table and nearly cracked his fucking lights at? Yeah, cunt. Right. No, I bring up Kim because my mate Kim, scaffolder, got the thing this guy has in that he looked mid-20s when he was 14. Like genuinely, we went on a lads holiday when we were 18. There was 5 of us who looked like in-betweeners.
Yeah.
Kim had a 6-pack and sleeve tattoos.
Yeah.
He played for Cambridge, Hitchin. He was a pro footballer, Kim. And he has, as the kids would say, he had that dog in him. He had that dog in him. But
do you have that dog in you? do we have that? Does this podcast have that dog in us?
No,
we don't. Okay.
Kim, I remember, when we were kids, Kim was and he was like a striker, but he was like a Rooney kind of striker who like kicked the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy's got. But to get on to the next video, this guy has got that dog in him, but he's also. He's done the thing. He's gone sober.
He's
and obviously
sweet.
We celebrate him for going sober.
Yeah.
Even in the last video where he's talking about getting his gurn on and how much money he spent gurning and how it's made his face like that, there's a glint in his eye.
Right.
Even in the Ket video where he's talking about, not doing Ket with the sunglasses on and how funny it is when people do Ket, there's a glint in his eye. This next one is doing what sober people do now, which is very earnest videos with sad music in the background about the realities of being sober.
Yeah.
Here's 12 things that I found when I got clean and sober that may just help you, and some things that you can expect. Let's go.
Got the jaw on
But
him.
when you're going to have the craving all over your body for the first 30 days, yeah, be aware. If you can get through first 30 days, you're in for a good chance. Number 2, you're going to put weight on because you're going to replace that craving with either sugar, chocolate, fizzy pop, anything but the powder. So you're going to put weight on. I went from 11 and a half stone to 15 stone. Embrace it. After a while, you're going to be able to love yourself again.
Self-love.
It's a beautiful thing.
What an amazing thing.
Time, though, you're going to start to lose friends. Yeah, don't worry, they're just old associates. You've got nothing in common anymore. You're on a different path to them. That's why we get ourselves into fellowship where we can meet new people. There's only you who can do it, and you can only do it for yourself. You're going to be able to buy stuff, new stuff. You're going to be able to feed yourself every morning.
The caption says no need to rob anymore.
It's a beautiful thing. You have a load of spare time on your hands, yeah? Start to find new things to do.
This is really deep. I never thought about some of these things.
Find new stuff to do. There's so much stuff out there waiting for you. I found my mental health got worse when I got clean and sober first time around my ADHD. So
That's
you
very
gotta
honest.
help for your ADHD or whatever mental health you've got. You're going to wake up every single morning without an hangover. You're going to feel alive. Maybe not straight away, but give it time. And the last one, you're going to go on and change your life. Take it easy. That's worth it.
Now, that's incredible. I love the disconnect between what is quite articulate words and his insane captions. Like you said, he was talking about like not needing to fund a life of crime, and it just said no need to rob anymore.
So much respect for him.
100%.
And by the way, there's bits of that that's so honest when he's like, you're not actually going to feel better straight away.
In the
and
immediate
he's
short
like, yeah,
term,
that's
yeah.
fine. He's like, you're going to have to look after your mental health and address things you didn't have to address because the drugs were masking it. You know, you're going to put on weight, try and embrace it. That got 4,000 views.
Did it? As opposed to the ones where he's talking about a cat.
And it's the reality of social media.
Yeah. And I think what
That's not, we were talking about Cooge's character. That if people found him for being I can't do that, kept me.
Yeah, right.
That's not the character they
were
came for.
interested,
And sorry, you were going to say something, but I just wanted to make that point of like, people want the character.
People want the character. And I guess maybe we can leave it there and we can say, like, we respect Mad Mike in Manchester being mad because it takes fucking balls to do that. And to put that out there.
Yeah. So we're getting as earnest as he is. I think that emotional music has got to us.
Maybe I should put that. I'll put that music under it. Oh,
We respect you, Mike. Well done. Thank you for telling us what you did. But
we're having a go at the net earlier for not being comedy. We're just saying, we love you, Mike. Well done.
We were going to take the piss and say, you had more of a glint in your eye when you talk about the ket than you are when you talk about being sober. But you fucking got us there, Mike. Do you want fucking cancel the live show? We're not going out after it. We're not doing an after party after the live show. We're going to go fucking home and talk to our family.
There will be ice baths after the live show. There will be saunas after the live show. We look forward to seeing you there. El Burrito Monster will be taking us on a 5K run around North London. And then Mad Mike will be there to tell us some cat stories afterwards. We love you, Mad Mike. We hope you enjoyed the episode, everyone. We'll see you next week. Take care.